all these people that are supposed to be doing this for us?
I know. Where's lighting and camera and makeup and wardrobe and...
Can I have some water, please? It's hot underneath these lights. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
You look lovely.
You do too.
And we're back to let people know we're back from hiatus.
That's right.
Not that we've been hiatusing.
No. No, we have so many projects. We just had to
put
focus
pause
on them.
That's right. We had to put pause on any new episodes so that we could focus our attention on a couple of really cool projects. You want to tell them about one of them?
Well, the most exciting is that we are working on a Spanish version of the mystical migration of the monarch.
Yes. From the very beginning, our dream was to have one narrated in English, of course, because that's the only language we know. My apologies to the world,
I know.
truly.
It's certainly my shortcoming, and I lose a lot by not knowing another language.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can do math, but I can't do additional languages. I've tried. I promise I have tried.
Well, that's a language. Math is a language, you know.
Oh, well, I do.
That's
really
universal.
Well,
Well, that's the universal language is mathematics. So you're good. I'm just struggling with my French a little bit.
Well, then I've got it.
You've got it.
So, very soon we will be uploading a Spanish narrated version of the film, and this has been a dream of ours since the inception, and it's very, very close to being realized.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we've been working on.
That's so exciting.
Another project we've been working on, we won't tell you. And it
That's
was
right.
kind of rude for me to just tell you that we're working on a project that we're not going to tell you.
But we want you to come back and see what that might be.
That's right. Might we tempt you back?
That's right.
Well, today's episode, we wanted to talk about some of our favorite books and offer a tip or two that might impact your world, benefit your world. It might not, but just visit with us. Please, just join in and visit with us. We've got some fun things to talk about. Yeah. Shall you go first?
Okay, I'd love to. So all of us have wonderful gardening books, no doubt about that. So picking one, my favorite, was very difficult. But I settled on The Potting Shed, which is a precious little book written by Linda Jones Smith, and the photographer was Hugh Palmer. And it's very well done. It's full of lots of meaningful words and beautiful images that inspire you to get into the garden.
Yes.
Now, and it also there's a nuance between the potting shed and the garden shed. Oh, yeah, it's well loved, and
You go on, carry on.
so the garden shed suggests that, it's a cute little building that handles your houses your shovels and your
Lawnmower.
And your lawnmower and all of your tools and your soil and all that.
That's right.
But the potting shed suggests that actual things happen in there, such as repotting. And to me, this is really where the garden begins, is the potting shed. Everything that it holds, the seeds, the little pots, the soil, the implements, they all offer promise and hope.
Yes.
For a new day in the garden.
Yes.
And, every potting shed needs a comfortable chair that you can sit in when you have to dash in out of the rain. And every potting shed needs a journal so that you can jot down your observations, because if you're like me, when you get back in the house, you've already forgotten what it was that you saw in the garden. So I and mine is well tattered, well worn.
I see that. This is so well loved.
Yes. It's just like that. My journal is, and when you look back through it, and I'll find notes from 15 years ago where I was just learning how to compost, and I'll remember something that I forgot. So it's just fun to reread as well as to record in there.
So you brought 2 books.
I did.
I did too.
I did. And so there are other things in the potting shed. It nurtures you as well as the plants. So it's good to surround yourself with artful things that feed your soul. I had a friend give me this, Garden Angels Gather Here, which to me is, there are many garden angels in the garden, I think, or something mystical about the garden, whatever you want to call it. Also, beloved items like this butter churn that belonged to my grandmother that I used to put my favorite clippers in.
That's cool.
It's fun. It's it's a treasure, and it reminds me of her. And then my grandfather, who taught me everything I know about gardening. And this is just a vintage shower head that you screw into your hose, and it doesn't have any of the, doesn't have 10 different selections where you can, jet stream. Just has the simple garden
shower mist.
But it's such a gentle. I don't care how hard you turn on the faucet; it stays gentle. So this is
that's lovely.
It's a real fun treasure.
Let me use that to show them your fun.
There you go.
Sign. Nice. So not only did you bring a favorite book about the potting shed, but you brought some items from your potting shed.
That's right. Well, Hurricane Sally blew through here a few weeks ago, and we were both fortunate. We didn't have a whole lot of damage, but we did have some, and she blew a limb onto the roof, so I've been pulling things out of it, trying to salvage what I can. So I thought I'd share them with you today.
I think it's lovely.
So what's one of the books you brought?
So one of my favorite books is because of the time, and this is an edition of Mobile Bay magazine. And I recognized 2 names listed in the article. You want to know who they are?
Oh. Wah and
Wah. So, yes, we were interviewed for an article on the Monarch Butterfly.
It's a very long journey.
Which, if you know us, that you know this is one of our very favorite butterflies. And written by Amanda Hartin. It is a beautiful article. Let's post the link to it. It's now become an e-article.
Yes.
And we'll post the link down in the description below this video so that you can read it too.
She did her research well. We learned something from her as well.
Yes, and as a photographer, I was delighted that they put one of my photographs in. And this is the photograph when we were at the stream bed in Mexico. Suzanne and I have had the good fortune of taking 2 trips to the overwintering sites in Michoacan, and this is where the monarch goes to survive for the species in the wintertime. And it's an amazing migration that science, I don't think, has still fully mapped out and can explain how a butterfly born in a northern state in the United States knows how to migrate to a very specific location, having never seen it before.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some mystery there.
There really is.
Yeah. So they're an amazing insect. I think probably so many of their mystical aspects and characteristics will probably be revealed and unveiled in time. And I certainly find it to be a beloved insect. So this is one of my favorites.
Love it.
And another of my favorite is this wonderful book on butterflies. It's full color, and it features all of the butterflies that are prevalent in our state. So this is a reference that I like to go back and forth to. So Paulette Ogard and Sarah Bright created this lovely book, and we've had the opportunity to meet with them, and lovely, lovely people.
Yes, they really are.
Yeah. So I want to show you my favorite. Well, it's hard to have a favorite, isn't it? Can I show you one of the ones among my favorite? I love the color blue. This is a pipe vine swallowtail, and the iridescence on the back of the wings.
So pretty. Yeah.
It's just amazing. It tells you how many scales are on that wing in order to create that shimmer.
And the sunlight, it just glows.
I took a photograph years ago of one of these on a plumbago. So the blues on the blue.
Yeah.
And I can't quite decide if butterflies tend to go more to flowers that are the same color that they carry, but it seems like there's possibility of some truth to that.
Isn't the pipe vine the one that has that real comical looking caterpillar?
That's the spice bush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in the family. But she will lay clusters of eggs on what's called the Dutchman's pipe, which is a vine. Yeah, something is just creating the winds to blow out.
I know it. There's a garden just beyond the camera, and we have full windows that we're looking at, and they're butterflies.
Birds and butterflies.
In fact, we have a visitor with us today.
Can you see this beauty? So this is a Gulf fritillary. It emerged this morning, and it's allowing its wings to set.
Yeah.
And very patiently just allowing that process to happen and those wings to harden off before it decides to conquer the world and flit and fly among beautiful, beautiful flowers.
And we just love having her with us this morning. There's something very peaceful about their presence. They're just, they're so quiet and elegant.
And if we could appeal to any of our friends, it's to please have flowers in the fall.
Right.
Because butterflies emerge well into the year, especially in our area, and they need food. Well, their food is found primarily from flowers, sometimes rotten fruit. And that's a fun thing to put out.
It is. In
your garden, is just fruit that we won't eat, but they will love to sip the sweet juices from it.
Right. He's on a cosmos, which is a wonderful, it blooms in the summer, but it's also a good fall flowering.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. May I share this last little book?
Yes, please.
So this happens to be the Southern Gardener's Book of Lists, which it's been a wonderful resource for me. It saves costly mistakes in selecting plants for your garden. It has just an endless number of lists of trees, trees for the beach, trees for tight spaces, trees for wet spaces, trees that make butterflies. Mm. Yes, there are trees that make butterflies. They are the host plant for various butterflies.
Yeah, like a citrus tree for the swallowtail.
That's right.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. And then it has lists of shrubs and ground covers and ferns and vines. And then there are lists of, there's a whole chapter just on roses because there's so many, and another chapter just on azaleas. And it also has a wonderful index. And so, if you're out at a garden center and you think, or, you see a plant that you want to get, you can run to the index and just see if it's something that's going to work in your yard. Mm-hmm. I know that there happens to also be one of these lists for the Pacific Coast or the Pacific Northwest, and also for New England. Chances are there's one for your area. So I encourage you to look for a comprehensive book of lists that will just save you a lot of frustration. And you learn a lot. It's just fascinating.
No kidding.
This one happens to be by Lois Trigg Chaplin. Mm-hmm. And there's some interesting, beautiful little black and white sketches in there that
like diagrams?
describe the image, what you should look for in certain plants.
I see.
Like there's the passion flower vine. Well, the passion vine happens to be the host plant for this precious Gulf fritillary, and it has an incredible bloom.
Yes.
And there's a beautiful sketch of that in there.
Every year we get phone calls that the monarchs are at the barrier islands.
Right.
And we jump in the car to go, and it's not monarchs.
Yeah,
it's this migrating Gulf fritillary butterfly, which is equally beautiful.
Mm-hmm. They're orange, and so they're easy to confuse. When I very first started doing this, I thought that was a monarch.
I did too, and I even argued with you about it. I said, no, I know it is. And so
it's
then
an
I
easy
compared.
mistake to make.
No, it wasn't. No. Suzanne was right.
But these are much tinier than a monarch too.
Yes, and you had perhaps a super generation monarch emerge this morning.
Yes, this morning. I got up early, of course, before I came, and there was a brand new monarch that I'd been watching the chrysalis. Mm-hmm. She had formed it right on the edge of one of my little concrete planters right by my kitchen door so I could keep an eye on her. I like to always keep some milkweed right there.
Yep.
And I was going to bring her, but she flew away. But she was
large.
As
they tend to do.
They do. But she had come out early, and she was healthy and beautiful and large. The super generation is larger than the previous 4 generations of the monarch, and I'm just sure she's going to make it to Mexico.
Yeah, we're in this particular taping is during the time of the southern migration.
That's right.
Where millions and millions of monarchs are heading to Michoacan, Mexico, and surrounding areas to overwinter for the species.
Right.
Which, geez, what an amazing...
Well, and it is, when we realized that the super generation, some of them are born right here in our backyards.
Yes.
I think that got us going. I mean, we were like, this something really exciting is
Yeah.
happening right here, and we can be
In
a
our
part of
backyards.
it. Yes. So we took off after that, I guess. And as you said, the ones that are born here actually don't have to travel as far.
They don't.
And
We've got a friend, so we met Dick on the first trip
That's
that we
right.
took to the overwintering sites, and he tags monarchs in Maryland. And
Nice.
several of his tagged monarchs have been found in the overwintering
sites.
sanctuaries
So remarkable.
in Michoacan. That's a long, long flight.
That really is.
And they don't flap their wings the whole way.
No.
They'll jump up into those air currents.
Well, several weeks ago, you shared that image that you saw from a weather radar over Houston, and it looked like this huge cloud. Wasn't a hurricane they were tracking. They were actually, there were so many monarchs that they registered as one big image on the weather radar.
Yes.
How many feet, thousands of feet up, do you think that is?
So I know that they've been recorded as tall as 14,000 feet in the air, probably even more.
Wow. Wow.
We were at 11,000 feet
Well, that's true.
in
In the
Mexico
mountains.
when we saw them.
But flying, yeah, they catch those wind currents. So it maybe that makes it possible for them to actually make that journey.
Yeah, and they've been found on oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico as a stopping off point to rest and wait for those winds to pick them back up and send them on down. So a great deep mystery how they do all of this.
We'd love to hear your experience with monarchs too.
Yes.
Or if any of you are tagging monarchs or have them, in your yard this time of year. So.
Yeah, tell us your stories, please.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for just sitting with us.
We love it.
Yeah. Just our goal is just to create community around the garden and butterflies.
That's right. We have this strong belief that all of our lives benefit when we spend time in the garden.
And
Brings a sense of balance to our lives.
So leave a comment or a question. We don't know much.
Right. We don't know a lot, but we love to answer questions because when you all ask a question, we learn something.
That's right. We're just so delighted that you would sit and visit with us.
I know.
Yeah. So leave a comment. Let us know who you are and
And where are you? We'd love to know where you're living and where you're gardening.
Yeah. Well, anything else?
That's it, I guess.
I guess that's it. Again, thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah.
We're delighted to have you. And as you always say,
May your garden be full of butterflies.
all right, until next time.
Bye.